Next on Worcester News Tonight, a young girl and her grandmother are seriously hurt in a pedestrian accident. A driver now faces charges. And a call for action. Supporters gather in Worcester's Peace Park to stand up against gun violence. And good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Lacombe. New tonight, a Worcester driver faces serious charges after the SUV she was driving jumps a curb, hitting a grandmother and her 5-year-old granddaughter who were at a bus stop. Worcester police say the female driver was chasing another vehicle moments before the incident in an apparent domestic dispute. The driver is facing multiple charges, including domestic assault and battery, which is why her name is not being released. Now, the 5-year-old girl and her grandmother are in critical condition tonight, and the police investigation is still active. Our Jennifer Zarate has new video tonight from witnesses and has more on our top story.
A grandmother and her 5-year-old granddaughter are seriously injured after being hit by this SUV. It happened at a bus stop on Major Taylor Boulevard outside of St. Vincent Hospital.
She tried to veer into him, and then she veered out and in, and then headed toward me. Then I heard the noise and some metal going over my head. I jumped off of the sidewalk right at the pole of the bus stop.
Worcester police say the woman driving the SUV was in a domestic dispute with a male in another car. Police say the woman struck the male's vehicle, lost control, and jumped the curb.
The vehicle then struck two pedestrians who were standing on the sidewalk.
William Vancelette says he was just around the corner as the accident happened.
I didn't catch the actual accident, I just heard everything, and I heard all the commotion and the tires screeching and all the metal hitting and everything, and that was about 2 seconds before we turned the corner over here.
Cindy Francis caught video of the scene seconds after the crash.
We just seen everybody running around chaotically, and I just feel really bad for the baby, you know, they were innocently standing there waiting for the bus.
Police arrested the female driver who is being treated at a hospital. She faces multiple charges, including assault and battery, reckless driving, and domestic assault and battery.
She was just stating out loud that she didn't know whatever the police were asking her, and that she just wanted to go home. And he just kept saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you actually did this."
It was pretty chaotic with everybody. The police got here immediately, and all the hospital staff came running out to help out as well.
As you can see, the accident has been cleared, but police tape still remains where the green SUV crashed into the grandmother and her 5-year-old granddaughter. In Worcester, Jennifer Zarate, Worcester News Tonight.
In other news, a call to prevent gun violence tonight in Worcester. Community leaders made the call on this, the National Day of Action, to address efforts to keep the community safe. Dozens attended tonight's rally. It was held at Worcester's Peace Park. The event brought together several community groups in the wake of a mass shooting at an Orlando nightclub. City leaders say Worcester is working to prevent gun violence with efforts like the gun buyback program. Families of gun violence victims say the pain of their loss never ends.
Us families who lose our loved ones, we never get over it. I don't care how long ago it was. We never get over it, and it's sad.
Enough is enough, and it is time that the leaders in our government take appropriate action to help better protect our communities.
Congressman James McGovern received praise from leaders tonight for his part in a House sit-in demanding a vote on legislation to help prevent gun violence. The Massachusetts State Senate passes a bill this week allowing people to break into car windows if they see a pet locked inside on a hot day. State senators unanimously approved the bill Tuesday, which would allow bystanders to break a car window to rescue a pet inside of a hot car. The person would have to check to see if the car door is locked and try to locate law enforcement first. They must then call 911 to inform authorities of their rescue plan before breaking the window. Now, Rutland Regional Animal Control Officer Laura Pease says she gets a lot of calls like this, and it's important for people to contact the authorities first before trying to save the animal themselves.
If they can get a police officer there or they can get an animal control officer there, that it makes more sense to get that person there before anyone breaks into the car and let the police officer or the animal control officer make that decision. I'm not saying that there isn't going to ever be a time when somebody has to do it, but they really should call authorities first.
Important to note, this is just a bill passing through the Senate, still must go through other approval before it could become law. A Leominster man has been sentenced to time behind bars for beating an elderly man during a road rage assault in Barre last year. The district attorney's office confirms Ryan Kobus was sentenced today to a year and a day in state prison with 3 years of probation to follow. Kobus attacked 71-year-old Walter Young on Route 122 last September because he was driving too slow. According to police, Young suffered a number of injuries, including stitches to his lip and a brain bleed. On the eve of what's expected to be a record travel weekend, local police are reminding drivers to be safe behind the wheel. Extra patrols will be out later this week in an effort to make sure people get to and from their 4th of July parties safely. Our Olivia Lemon has more on what police will be looking for this holiday weekend.
With more cars on the road, obviously there's more opportunities for accidents. There's, never mind whether someone's impaired or not.
With travel volume expected to set records this holiday weekend, Auburn Police Detective Sergeant Scott Mills says they will have more patrols on the roadways. Mills says with more cars on the roads, there is a bigger risk for accidents, especially if someone is driving drunk.
We just want people to celebrate responsibly and to not, drive from place to place, use a ride-sharing app, have a friend drive you, whatever you need to do.
The department received grant money so additional patrols can be brought in over the holiday weekend to enforce laws on underage drinking.
The guys will be out looking specifically for underage alcohol and parties and things of that nature. But obviously if they see something that looks like an impaired driver, whatever the age, they're going to address it.
AAA expects most of the about 1.1 million Bay Staters who plan to travel this weekend will do so by car. Massachusetts State Police say there will be increased sobriety checkpoints and law enforcement on the roads. In Leicester, Police Chief Jim Hurley says his officers will be paying special attention to speeding, texting while driving, and drunk driving.
We're encouraging everyone to use a designated driver and stick by the slogan that we go by: you drink, you drive, you lose.
Hurley says with more cars on the road this weekend, drivers should be cautious and alert.
We're out there to deter traffic violations, and we want to reduce crashes.
We're lucky to get the funding and to have the ability to put extra people out and address these kind of issues.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
And another warning from police tonight. They're reminding people fireworks are illegal in Massachusetts. And as our Andy Madison shows us, enforcement can be a bit of a challenge in certain parts of the state.
TNT Fireworks has been busy this week.
They're all ground-based fireworks, so we don't have anything that's going to shoot up in the air. With all of them, you'll get like a shower of sparks.
Business is good leading into the 4th of July holiday at the stand located just over the Massachusetts border on Route 131 in Connecticut.
You cannot possess or use fireworks, especially anything that's not approved by the state. And so they all fall under the fire code violations.
Fireworks are a staple of any 4th of July celebration. Massachusetts is no different, except if you're looking to have your own fireworks show. Authorities are always on the lookout for fireworks around the 4th of July, especially in towns like Webster and Dudley, which are so close to the Connecticut border, where buying and selling fireworks are legal.
We have a place less than 100 feet after the line that sells fireworks, so I mean the occurrences are going to be more down here.
It's a lot easier access. People can go down and buy things and bring them wherever. And so it does make our job harder, and it involves a little bit more activity on our part.
It's one thing police will be looking for as people come in and out of the Bay State for the holiday weekend. TNT Fireworks says they've been in the same location for several years.
It's worked for us really well in the past, so it helps with business.
But bringing them into Massachusetts could result in a hefty fine if caught by police. Andy Madison, Worcester News Tonight.
Southbridge police are tackling the opioid epidemic by partnering with HealthCare to help addicts. Wednesday, Police Chief Shane Woodson announced officers will be available to anyone who comes to the police department and seeks recovery services. The CARE program, which stands for Community Assisted Recovery for Everyone, starts Friday. The program will be aided by Harrington Healthcare System's Behavioral Health Department.
it hasn't worked. They go into the courts, they get released the next day, they're back out on the streets. Now the stuff's so potent, people are actually dying. So we as law enforcement, we need to step up and help the people in our community that need it.
Program is similar to the Gloucester Angel program model. A former Worcester Polytechnic Institute softball player has filed a lawsuit against the school, her former head coach, and the coach's parents. She claims she was permanently injured in a hazing ritual during spring training last year. The student filed the suit last week. She says she spent more than $118,000 on medical expenses and other costs because of her injury, which left her unable to play softball. WPI released a statement today. It reads in part, Worcester Polytechnic Institute denies the negligence and hazing allegations by a former student, a member of the women's softball team. The university has zero tolerance for hazing, and we take the health, safety, and well-being of our students as a top priority. A young woman traveled across the country for a life-changing procedure at UMass Memorial Medical Center. She had the same surgery as a little girl and wanted the surgeon who cared for her then to perform it again. Brittany Schaefer explains.
This is one of the incredible privileges of being a physician, surgeon who can help someone with a life-threatening condition.
Katie Drennan traveled thousands of miles to have a Worcester surgeon perform a rare heart operation. But Dr. Louis Messina is no stranger to Drennan. He performed the same surgery on her 18 years ago.
I'll always be grateful that he was able to do it and fix it again. It's really nice to know that I have the confidence in a doctor that'll fix me.
As a surgeon, to know that you form such a close bond, with the child and the mother.
Drennan was born with a rare aortic condition, causing her to have a clot in the largest artery in the body. When she was 3 years old, Messina performed a life-saving aortic valve replacement. He was working in California then, and today he is the only surgeon in the Northeast who can perform this type of procedure.
A lot of the surgeons we talked to in California weren't really comfortable doing it.
It's one of the actually most high-risk procedures that you can do because once we clamped that graft that was in there, that reduced all the blood flow to the liver, kidneys, and they can only tolerate about 30 minutes.
Dr. Messina performed the 5-hour surgery on Drennan for the second time on Thursday. He says this valve should last her forever.
This will last her entire life. So she's now cured of the condition she was born with.
It's a relief to know that I don't have to have any more procedures done and can just live my life.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Special bond between a patient